Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us take one practical example and let us start doing some application. So today we will start with very basic one. I know majority of you are already would have gone through this. So this is for overall, we will introduce with this. And from today onwards, we have few assignments for all of you. On a day-to-day basis, we expect all of you to complete it so that we can progress together in Harmony. So this is how whenever you launch a Devico, this is the first thing that you see. I hope all of you have already made the developer and sorry, development environment ready, right? So let's start with this. So here we have so many different type of configurations that we can do. So one of the things, let us take empty ability, feature ability, and then we will build something on top of it, right? So let's see, let's name it as, maybe I need to do text and I want to add a button. So I think this is my name. So I have a compatibility version again here. So as I said, I am okay with the version file. Let me add 5 only, and then I finish it. So the most of my work is already done the moment I do this, right? So then I need my emulator to be there. So let me start my emulator. So here we can test it online with variable, media pad, and so many things are there. And further, we are adding some more components where everybody can use. So here we have a P40 device that it is getting emulated over here. So let us again go back and see what did this do. Again, we are seeing settings.gradle, that is important for us. Then we saw the local properties that will get adjusted. Then we have build.gradle. You can see there is no signing configuration that is added because we have not set here. And then we have build.gradle at the module level. So here, then we can see the most, we were seeing this one, right? Just before now we were seeing. The same thing is added here as well. So here we currently we will not change much because we only selected this just now. So for the phone we selected, and this is what we have. And let's see what is the first, how do we go about and start analyzing any application. The first and foremost thing that we always will go through is my application. This is the one where our application get initialized and where the memory process, everything is allocated from the app spawn. So it gets initialized through here. But the ability, the system calls ability, the main ability that is getting configured in the config.json, you can see what is the ability that has been configured. So this is the first ability that gets called, which has this set of skills in it. So that's the reason this is getting, sorry. So now onStart is getting called based on lifecycle events. We will see about lifecycle events in a couple of minutes now. So, so here onStart, once it gets, a view is set using a route. This is a concept of how you do it in web technologies, routing your view. So we are trying to say route it to main ability slice. So we have ability and ability slices. Abilities are basically the functional component. If you talk about a model view component, this pattern. So this is more to do like a model, and slices are basically the view where we can see majority of the operations related to view is handled in ability slice. Both of them are extending finally from ability context only. So if you see both ability and both will come directly from the ability context. In terms of the APIs exposed for UI and functionality, it will vary a little, but both are almost the same. So logically they are separated, but in terms of functionality, they are almost the same. So coming back to this one, so let's see when we talk about ability slice, we saw another one from the lifecycle event. Again, it will call onStart for it to start this view. So in view, we are doing super onStart. That means we are asking the parent to initialize whatever is needed for the view. And then we are setting the UI where we are trying to say this layout needs to be set. So this is a syntax how we call layout using resource table. We can create this kind of layouts and then we set a particular layout. So when I click this, we have this information that is present where it is a directional layout. So we will learn more about directional layout tomorrow, where we learn tomorrow morning session where each of the layouts, different types of layouts will be explained. So today we will just see directional layout. So this layout basically tries to give more information in the see direction that is defined. So the meaning of that is it is directional. So it can be either vertical or horizontal. So currently we are trying to say the orientation is vertical. So all the components that you will add in this will be in vertical style, one below the other. So let's see. So I don't know what is the meaning of this, right? I have done something, but it is not available for me to see. So let us try and run this and see how does it look on the device, right? So let me directly run by clicking a play button over here. If you see the build starts working over here, once the build is over, it will start running. You can see what are the process that it does. So it is installing the application into the SD card. Now it has run. So now let's see what happened in the remote device. So here, if you see, it has done the same thing, right? The text button is the name of the application that we defined. Here it is giving hello world. So till now, I didn't even wrote a single piece of code. Everything is based on the template. The code is already available, and we have a predefined set of code that is already there. So let's go a little bit deep now and let's tamper the code and see what we can learn from it. So I would like to see, as the name says, I want to add a button over here. So let us try and do that part, right? So let us see how to add a button here. So since it is a directional layout and I need to add one after the other. So let me add button. There is another beautiful feature in the IDE called previewer, right? So the moment I click on previewer, so whatever we have here, this gets previewed. So before I run on the device, I can actually see what the layout looks like. See? And the same thing is available here also. So we are almost seeing the same thing. So till I get to a context of understanding, okay, what is happening, what is not working for me, let us more focus through the previewer and try to dig more into previewer. So let me just go here. Let me create a button. So the moment I do left arrow, all this pops out and I just have to select the button. The moment I select button, again, it is asking what kind of height and width of the button you need. So I match parent when I do. Let's do match parent and see what happens. Right. So it is giving an error. Can anybody tell why this error is happening?
You not close the button.
Not closed it.
Perfect. So you guys are all intelligent guys. So what is missing in the button? If I do this, will it work?
Text is missing.
The label.
Okay, label or a text. Let's see what we get. So we have something called as text directly. So let's see what we can name currently the text also as hello. As a very good practice, right? Any component, one of the main thing we should do is give some
ID.
ID for it so that we can easily identify it on a later point of time. So this is a syntax for it. Automatically, so much was done. So name, maybe I will name as it's a button, and I will name it as next. So I have just given this name. Let me save all these things. So what exactly happened? Can you see here? A tiny thing has come up over here.
Yes.
So
It
what
was
is
in the
wrong?
middle of the screen.
So what did I do wrong here? What I
You
can do
said
to improve is
you said height and width match parent. That's why you have
okay.
to
So
match
can
content.
we
But
do
the text
content?
size, yes, that you can able to use.
Somebody said about text size, right? So let's
Yes.
see if I do text size, what can I do? So here
And
in Harmony,
event
we have
also
different
into
types
trigger
of text size.
config.
So I can make it somewhere around 30 in font pixel. If I add, let's see what happens. So this is pretty good, right? I can see easily. So then I will try to add font pixel here also relatively. So now I have a text and a button, but I'm not feeling it as a button. So what is wrong in this?
On
Might be
event
style
we need to
missing.
trigger. Event we need to trigger on click of something.
Okay, maybe that is
On click.
functionality, but I don't even see it as a button, right? So what I should do
Style.
here?
I think
Style.
the
Style.
height
The
is
boundaries.
Button.
Okay, somebody talked about boundaries, style. So let me see. There is something called as background element.
Okay.
So basically, I need to define a background for it. So there are different types of colors I can set. So color finally assigning to it also comes from another element that you define over here. So let me see this. So let's see how it looks. Does it look like a button?
sir, actually the height is match parent and so the entire screen it is occupying the entire screen. Sir, make it wrap content.
So let's see what it is.
Match content. Okay.
So now I did match content, but still it is not proper, right?
Yes.
So
You have to do
We can
padding.
add padding.
Maybe the padding is missing.
padding is missing. Perfect. So maybe I feel it should have been center, right? The text is center. So maybe my alignment has some problem,
Yes.
right? So let's see what happens. Perfect. So I have done, but still it's not looking good. So let's see what I can do. Now this is becoming cumbersome for me. I have to do everything typed, right? So I'm not interested with that.
Any
let
like
me
Android
take
Studio,
another.
is there any UI view to drag
Let
and
me
drop?
take another example to show you what I can do. So here I have all the attributes that are already there that can be added. So here let me add the padding that is needed. So I have bottom 20. Top padding of 20. Let's see this is what is missing. Right padding is missing. So if you see here what exactly happened, it is somewhat button, right? I can see there is relatively, we can improvise here. For the time being, I'm okay. But the name of this one, I'm not so happy. So let me make it as next. So this is how I have done. But problem is whenever you see a view, right, where it will be usually at the center, right? Hello?
Maybe we can do layout alignment equal to center. and not horizontal center.
Okay.
No, you have to set a directional layout to alignment.
Okay. Whatever you say.
So we can use gravity.
Perfect. So let's see, you guys are already great in terms of doing UI alignment. So the first, maybe for people who are not so familiar with Android, I think one of the main reason all the guys who were able to express themselves was they have done this kind of a thing in Android, and they were able to relate what needs to be done over here. So that was the main thing that I feel is the key here. So maybe let me make it more. 20 seems to be a little bit less.
I have one question here.
Yes. Yes.
For text size, you use a 50 FP, and for giving paddings, you can only mention a numerical value only. So what's the
It
difference?
will, by default, it will be taking as this itself.
Okay. Sir.
So default thing is pixel. So FP is for font pixel. Usually for rest of the things we give VP. That is a standard format that we follow. For font also, we prefer to use it as VP like this. So this is ideally the way you should be giving, so that in any, however you are looking here, the meaning of virtual pixel is if you are setting it and it is looking like this in this, if I take it to one more screen and if I push this information, it will look in the same way. It won't change. But the moment I change into pixels, it will do based on the pixel that is available there. So that's why VP and FP are something that we should use, so that it is the same behavior across. Maybe the top and bottom I will reduce. It will look more like a rectangle. It is more looking like a square box. So it is somewhat there now. So another important, since we talked about directional layout, there is another thing called as dependent layout. So where we create the dependency on each of these components and achieve the same functionality. That I think will result in the similar behavior what we are seeing. But in terms of understanding a layout easily, so this is another way where we can see how each layout, how it is done. So you can see directly from the component tree itself how we can do. So if sometimes when you change, for example, if you create some other XML and it is not loading, you can always do a refresh over here. There is a refresh button that is available here. So you can always do this and it refreshes, reloads all the components that is available. Now, the next option for us is to run on the device to see whether the same thing is reflecting or not. So let's see remote device. I hope this is very clear, where there is a previewer and there is a remote device. So we are trying to do mix and match over. See, the same thing came into picture. So we are pretty much good in terms of, I think, UI. So, but a couple of things I want to do is on the click of the button, I want to launch to the next UI. I think one of the basic thing that we do is that only, right? Click on one place and it loads another
Yes.
UI. That is one of the basic thing that we do. So let's see that now. This is more for generic introduction of our application development. So people who are already aware, maybe you guys can see where we can improvise on this. So today we have few assignments based on this discussion. So please be aware of that. So next, see what I want to do. I don't want to do much in the next layout. I just want to show a text view, and if it is at center, I'm more than happy. So you guys can help me what all I should do now. So I will click on this. This is okay. So I'll just maintain it for simplicity. So it is created already. So somebody suggested if I do here, it will come to center. But I have another way of doing that one. Can we try that? So it is similar to what we have done, but we will use a different layout this time. Instead of directional layout, let's use dependent layout. So once I change automatically, come again?
There's something called top to top of parent or top to
Yes.
Bottom to bottom of parent. Then we can.
Correct. So let's see
Yes, sir.
how simple it is there in dependent layout. How to align it at the center. So let's take another text. I will just add text. So it is again trying to give me the same thing. So here also I will give content. As I said, a good habit will be to start with introducing the ID. So the ID can be so here it is showing the error. We saw if we do this, it is over. Anything else I need to add? I have not added text only. I will just declare it as second slice, right? Maybe I will try to do a little bit more venturing compared to last. Maybe I will add text size over here. Size is maybe we will add 30 FP. We will add some color to the text this time. Guys, you guys were helping me. What happened suddenly? I don't know what is this color. I just tried. Let us see from the preview what exactly happens to this. So here it is not center aligned, right? So there is a very simple option in dependent layout where I can bring it to center. That is
Parent to
in
center
parent.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So center in parent. If I just do this, automatically it comes. So I don't have to worry about components, how it will be. Now let's take, since we talked about this, there is another important thing. Let's add another text. Just for the sake of it. So let's see. Okay. So the moment I did this, what happened?
Overlapping was happened. So you need to take it off. I mean, below or some other kind of. You need to make use of another option.
Correct. The meaning of dependent. The meaning of dependent layout itself is it will depend on the components that were involved in this. So we can try above or below. If you do above, so then you need to specify the ID, right? ID is what? Right now we have, this is correct?
No, second, text to second.
Correct. So if I do this, this happens. So this is a way where we can link both of the text or the components that are present in dependent layout. So we can add more. So let's keep it down. So instead of above, we will make it as below. See, it's just so right now, if I run the application, will this run? Will it launch this?
No,
No.
Why?
for the next, only the ability underscore main will.
Because we have never told to the system that this is a new layout that needs to be loaded. So I can directly do this to verify whether the layout is proper or not. Just to verify whether the layout is okay or not. Will it work if I just load that one?
Yes.
Let's see. Yes, it worked. So it is the same information. The whole thing that we are doing is just loading the component into the view over here. So that is what we did. So let's go back and try to implement that methodology now, what we want to do. So let's switch it back. So now what is missing? So if I have to go back to my main ability, so this is my main ability, right? So I have to do a button. So now let's take our main. So now this is my main ability, but I am doing all my implementation over here. So what I should do here?
Listener. Click listener.
Okay. So maybe in my case, I will try to set it up here. So this is a syntax that we use here. Dot next. So this is why it is required for us to identify it. But still this guy is giving me some error because it is a generic component, but I am assigning to button. So right now this is okay. Now next button dot correct what I have done here.
Hope so.
Hope
Correct.
so.
I mean, because the method here and Android will be different. No? Set on click
Correct,
listener,
correct.
here set click listener.
So already my ID is helping me out in doing this interface implementation. So it gave me all this information, right? So directly I can do and directly I can launch that one. Correct?
No,
But
there
another
you need to
important
create another.
yes,
Ability was
I'm
not
coming.
created yet.
Correct. So that is where we have to create another ability. So maybe we will name it as another slice we will create. But it is not helping me with anything. Let me extend with what I should extend it with ability slice. So the moment it is happened, so I can override it with my on start. The moment on start is there, super dot so there is this automatic inclusion. I think this is wrong. That's why it is not giving me.
Okay, so abilities are like activities in Android, right?
Exactly. Abilities are like activities, and ability slice are an extended versions where we use only for UI interaction.
In Android Studio, we could have created a new empty activity, then it would have automatically created the ability underscore whatever dot xml also. So is it the same case here?
We will extend that one. As of now, this is very starting versions of that. So we have different ways of doing those things. So soon we will see that also. Right now, I'm showing you not the easier options, the options where you need to understand each and every step. If you have to do without IDE also, you should know what are the basic things that we need to take care. Right now I have created this also, but something is missing, right? What I should do here?
Usually we will be in Android, we have intent.
Come again?
We're calling the ability.
In Android, you'll be calling start new
Intent.
activity with an intent, right? So
Yes.
here in Harmony, there are two types of things. One, to start an ability, it is similar to Android. You create an intent and you do. But within the slice where you move only the view, not the entire ability, it is only switching between the views, not the entire ability lifecycle. So there is much simpler interface. So to do any of this, let's go back and see how we should understand these things. So in SDK, this is your SDK path. You will also have similar way. So there is a document folder. So I strongly suggest all of you guys to do this and read these components. So wherever you need more information about ability, so we can just type about this. So we can read about ability. So when we go with ability, it has a lot of information of how a ability happens. What are the different types of ability? In Harmony, there are three types of ability that we talk about. There is a page ability, there is a service ability, and there is a data ability. In page ability is mainly used for UI component. Wherever you come with UI component, so we talk about page abilities. Pages are like views. As the name says, each page contains one view function, view and view functionality. In terms of service, these are background abilities which doesn't need to come on foreground. So it provides services for us for multiple applications as also for page abilities. There is another ability where we call it as data ability, which is more like a how to handle database operations or storage operations. So that is what we call it as data ability. So in terms of ability profile, this is what we have seen just now also in our IDE, how the structure is available, how the page ability slice, everything. Here we are talking about page because this is the view component. So that's where page we are highlighting. So there is an entry, library, how Java contents are there, in resources where we collect media, and there is a JSON file which we saw how our configurations are. With all, many of you would have already seen Android lifecycle. We have a lifecycle in Harmony as well. So here the lifecycle will be of 4 stages, and the callbacks will be similar to Android. So one of the first life cycle when the application gets started, here when I say application, you need to always think not this ability, this one. This is the application which gets initialized. Then you are in the initial stage. So you are initializing all your memory for the application. So what all things you need to do, some of the basic operations of checking if some parameters are available or certain subsystems are available, you will check during that time. Then there is a callback given to your ability, that is your main ability, that is your onStart. So onStart is the first callback that comes as a lifecycle callback from the system to your application, where you can start initializing your view, initializing your database, initializing any of the components that are needed for you for an application or a UI to run. So that is where your onStart is called. Even in that state, you will be in the inactive state. When the moment of inactive is, it might be displayed or it is in the process of display, but it is not in the state of interaction. The application will be in inactive state in multiple cases. So that's why I said maybe it is displayed or it is in the process of displaying. We call it inactive state. Then the system calls another callback called onActive. This is where we have a complete interaction with the application. Right now we have a button. For that button to respond, you should be in the active state. So that is where onActive method is called and onActive also is called. So during this time, you can do certain operations when the callback is called, which is linked for UI to be functional. So whenever there is another view that comes into picture, that is, you have two ability slices, ability A and ability B. When ability A is launching ability slice B, so the ability A slice will get a on inactive callback and it will go to inactive state. So then the life cycle of ability slice will start with on start on active in the same way. The moment the ability slice A, the first one that we are talking about, becomes background or completely background, we call that state as background state, where you cannot operate it further. You cannot see it, you cannot operate it. In the transition where sometimes when we see a slice is there in background and a dialog comes on top of it, that is also inactive state where the view is visible, but you cannot interact with that view because there is something else on top of it. So these are the different life cycle stages and callbacks that are there. This is very important for us to understand how it is. So you can see here some of the basic callbacks that are there, and this you guys can add some logs over here and see how it will be used, right? Then this is how you start ability. Here you can see we have done similar operation. We have an intent builder, we have a bundle name and an ability name, which needs to be created. This is a builder function. So we have an operation here. This is how we create that operation of launching another ability from the different bundle. So we just start the ability with this intent. So this is how we do. But currently we are not starting an ability, right? We are just starting an ability slice. We are just starting an ability slice. So let us read a little bit more on ability slice to understand how to do. So here we have ability slice. So here they have set based on different types of actions, how automatically that corresponding slices can be launched. So this is one, you can see here, different actions can be defined like a pay. Whenever a pay or a scan comes, automatically a view gets launched, irrespective of what the device is doing. The moment you do this, that corresponding action takes care of it. Right. So here, if you see here, this is also similar to the life cycle is same as our ability. So here they have given one simple example here, switching between ability slices. So you need to just do present. So from here, it will go to the next slice, and then we have to pass the intent. So let's try this one over here. So let's see. Where are we? We are in, so we are in object. So then we can directly call present. We can create next ability slice. Since I don't have to pass anything in intent, so I am done with the. This is the only thing you need to do for passing between the slices. So let's see what we have done. So we have tried to link everything. Let's see whether it works in the real time, whether we have created any issue or not. Oh, I have to open the. Okay, so last time we were seeing different screen. Now let's see how it works. Oh, it works. So we were able to do that one from one view to another view slice. We added successfully, right? So it was pretty easy for doing it. But I will just show a little bit more optimization for the same thing with some indirections here. So instead of doing what is there on click, so we already know there is a single method that needs to be done. I will directly use this. So I can just copy paste this entire thing over here.
Can you increase the font size a little?
Okay, 1 second. This is okay.
Yeah.
So I just changed the same thing, what we are doing here in this way. This is much easier way of handling if there is a single method. So let's see whether this works or not. Again, we will try to see because we have done some code change. So we'll try to execute them. So this is how we are trying to move from one ability slice to another ability slice. Right. So this was a very basic, I think in a normal way, if you implement, I think within 15-20 minutes, you can do this complete thing. I wanted you guys to also understand and help me out in developing it. So I think you guys did a brilliant job in that. So having said that, along with this, we have an assignment planned for you. This, since you guys have understood everything, so this should be pretty easy for you. So we will build up on this. This is a simple UI that you need to do. Here you need to make 3 screens instead of 2. This is the first screen that you will be doing. This is basically your login or a sign up page. Wherever you are seeing this mark, so this is where you will be implementing a image. You will be inserting an image. This image can be a fixed one. It can be part of your package. I have purposefully not shown how to use image in Harmony because I want you guys to go use the component, see how images are added. It is also pretty easy. It can be done with layout help in 2-3 lines of code. It can be done very easily. So I want you guys to do this with the buttons. And then whenever we click sign up, you will call the sign up ability. Whenever I call login, you call the login ability. All right.
After logging in, what screen should be shown?
You just have to show this empty screen. Just login is there. This is login ability. Once login is finished, this is what you show. And this is sign up. So point.
So we shouldn't exactly do a login and sign up.
No, you will only do this much. As here, instead of this into mark box, you will implement an image.
Okay.
You will create 2 buttons. So on click of each one, you will launch one ability slice.
Okay,
So
on clicking on
just the
login, login ability slice. Clicking on sign up ability slice.
That's it. That's it. It should hardly take you some half an hour time for you to finish this.
Okay.
So to make this easier for the first time, because many of you are using IDs and many other things, the most important thing what I want is I want you guys to explore all these options. When you go to previewer, see what all it works, what is not working, what is not as per the discussion. Usually we will assume it should have been like this. Why it is not like this? So I want those kind of discussions to come out.